Hello, hello. We are back with Death unto Madness. Let's find out what's going on with Avra, shall we? Do you have any particular thoughts on what you want to accomplish, Carls?
I mean, I definitely feel like she should immediately look into, like, trying to contact her sister again.
Mm.
But mainly for the sake of getting information.
Mm-hmm. How'd you go about doing that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Well, Maria, would Skion still be watching me after our meeting? Like, would he occasionally show up?
Yeah, I mean, he was a little preoccupied with Heron
Right.
a day. So it depends on what the timeline is. Because if you're trying to find me at the same time that he's messing around with Heron, then that doesn't really work.
I mean, I feel like she'd just wait until the next time that she saw him.
Yeah, he'll be around. I mean, he's around often, probably.
Okay. What do you do in particular then when Skion shows up?
I mean, no, I don't remember. Does birdie talk mean that I can?
You can talk with all birds.
Okay, so I can talk with them, so I can understand them and they can understand me.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. So I think I'd just tell Skion, like, I need to meet with my sister again to get some answers about my father.
Maria, honestly, I think I'll let you talk as Skion because I'm not entirely sure what he would or how he would say it. That sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to figure out how she gets close enough to him to actually talk to him because he's usually not that close.
I mean,
I guess you could probably just like go to your window and he'd be
right
watching. He'd be like,
"That's what I was thinking."
Okay. I don't know who would talk first. Maybe Skion goes to the window or wherever you're at, and he just kind of lands and like nods his head. He's like, "The lady," not obviously like a country boy. But... wait, no.
She just said something to him. Remember? She was like, "What did you say, Carl's? You're like, I need to get in contact with my sister." Basically, yeah. So I imagine what it probably happened is Skion came, left the Black Orchid like he usually does, and then like went to the roof of like the nearest building, and was like watching from there. But it's like close enough that Aver can just go to the window and then say that to him.
Okay. Would Skion really say anything to her?
Up to you. Yeah, that's why I was asking you honestly, right? Like,
would, because if she's just kind of shouting at him from like her window and be like, "I need to meet with my sister," he'd be like, "Okay," and then fly off.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, hops once or twice and then flies off. Awesome. So, what is the plan then? So if the Raven gets back to you, Ophelia, what would you try to set up? Or would you push off your sister until you went and met with this other guy you're supposed to meet with? Because I think the timing works out that it would be about the time you would. It was like the day after that happened.
I do have something I might want to do in the meantime, so whether or not that happens immediately is fine.
Okay, I think because it's not a Avra in danger situation, I think I'm more concerned about the whole other thing because a human just told me to meet with a dude.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably my priority unless Avra is in some kind of trouble.
Yeah. I was just realizing what this is like, and the whole spirit familiar thing that we're doing with these animals is giving me a lot of like Golden Compass vibes. I don't know if it is for you guys too, but that's the vibe it's giving me. It's basically like atheist Narnia.
Oh,
That's
right,
how
you told me
people
about it.
usually describe it. Basically, the whole story, it's a kid learning that religion is bad and that God is evil or doesn't exist or whatever, right? Like,
Is it a serious movie?
it's a book series first, but yeah, a movie. They made a movie of it as well.
Legitimate? It wasn't like a
Yeah.
joke?
No. This is
No.
legit. This is dead serious. Yeah. This guy wrote a series that's basically atheist Narnia. It's like teaching children that religion is bad through a fantasy series. Yeah. But they have like all of them have things called daemons, which are DAEMON. Yeah, but they're like animal spirits that are companions to people. Like everyone is born with one of them. That like walks around with them, and it's like they're kind of like spirit animal in a like legitimate sense, that like it's a companion. Anyway, that's just what I was thinking. So yeah, Ivor, what do you want to do in the meantime while you're waiting for Scan to show up?
Give me a sec. I'm writing down some notes. I would probably, because this is a Avra staple move, go to Celadon.
It's my trademark move.
Yes. She's gonna go find Celadon and basically tell him that her sister is alive, and or no, she's not gonna open with that. She's gonna just go in wanting to learn more about what actually happened with her sister and what other people actually know about her.
Okay. So I think you find him in the like lecture hall where many of the men spend a lot of their time. There is probably like a parallel country club like situation like the females have with the birds, but it's like an academic sort of lecture club thing. And
There's like a smoking room.
yeah, there's like a smoking. Yeah, it has that sort of like gentleman's club vibe sort of a thing, right? Like the fraternity sort of thing. And a brotherhood, a secret brotherhood or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So they're doing like the normal thing they would do, where they have like basically declamations, right? That's just that's what they spend their free time doing.
That makes so much sense,
right? And what's it called? It's actually Celadon, and he is debating with a guy you haven't seen before. He's tall, sort of lanky, but he has a robustness about him. He's obviously, well muscled, though he's tall and stuff. He has a nice beard. He has like swimming pool blue eyes. And get kind of darker hair, and he's wearing the normal, like, what was it? I guess they wear like various kind of like robe toga like things. And he's wearing like the standard, maybe not a nobleman's robe, but like someone who is probably like the closest you can get to middle class in this society, but is like a respected person in this club because of his academic knowledge. It's likely he was maybe part of a priesthood at one point or something like that, right? Some other like nobility adjacent sphere that has allowed him to like be part of this little club. But they're actually debating on like the nature of God right now. So they're kind of like doing a back and forth on like, well, I think, basically on like the concept of monotheism. Because everyone's been kind of talking about the weird way that the king has been referring to everything, and the way that he kind of is monopolizing one god over all of the others. And this guy whose name is Citus, Citus, he is. You walk in and he's basically saying some stuff that you've never heard before, right? Stuff like, do you think that it might be possible, given the evidence that we have, that the things that you call gods are merely powerful beings that may not have your best interests in mind? They might be malevolent. I mean, consider the things that they demand, the sacrifices that they demand, the capriciousness of their whims. Is it possible that there is another being out there that truly deserves the title of God? And maybe the things that you call gods, that we call gods, are merely a shadow of that true being. A delegated authority that has gone terribly awry. And Celadon breaks in and says, are you referring to the myth of, and I'm trying to think of like what they would call this. Let's see. This is important. I'm just trying to think of the name. Because I think what Celadon, okay, this is what he says. He says, Celadon counters with, are you referring to the myth of the Father of Gods? It's long been considered in most academic circles that it's merely that, a myth. The gods are real. We can see that. We can feel their presence on the world. The sacrifices do legitimate, scientifically provable things. Magic, or not, he wouldn't say magic, but he would say the powers of the divine are at certain individuals' disposal. There is a power to these beings, but Father of the gods, a supreme being who created them, rules over them, but that they overthrew? There's no true evidence for this being. We have not felt his touch. There are no priests to him. How can we know that it's purely conjecture? It's interesting theory, scientists, and obviously the things that the king has been saying has gotten everyone thinking about what exactly he is thinking about in terms of divinity. But he's the first. He's the first in a long, long time who has even begun to promote the concept of monotheism, that there's only one true God, and the pantheon that we know of is just delegation. I don't think that there is any provable evidence that you have. And I think, like, it seems like Citus is about to continue, but then someone, like, calls time or something, right? And then they, like, do whatever bow they do to each other at the end of the debate, and then the guy says, like, all right, we'll reconvene this tomorrow. It seems like we've run out of our allotted time for this section. The next participants can step up now. And Celadon goes over to Citus and like shakes his hand. You can see that they're saying something to each other. And Citus like heads off, and he it looks like he's about to like leave, and then a couple of other scholars like come up next to him and like want to ask him questions and stuff like that. And Celadon sees you in the crowd and then walks over. And he says, Ava. And he seems like kind of energized because he's just like had a debate or whatever, right? So he's like, well, what did you think? The man has interesting theories. I have to give him that. Everyone's thinking about it.
Trying to think of what she would actually think of this. I mean, I think she'd probably just say something along the lines of, I don't bother myself with deep theological matters, but I'm glad to see you enjoy it.
And he kind of sighs and he says, a true woman to the core. No time for theology. Because of the culture that they're in. No offense, Maria. So yeah, he just does that. He says that, and then he says, so what did you want?
I wanted to have you help me look into something. Not something incriminating.
Okay. And what would that be?
My sister.
Your sister. What about her?
Anything you can find.
Okay, are we talking about official public records or what people remember from her?
Anything you can find.
Okay, yeah. Anything. It will take a little time.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. And it's like, I think normally you're right, you would have to make a roll for this, but I think he feels bad about all the times that he's denied helping you in anything, that he's like, all right, I'll throw you a bone, I'll do this for you. And so, yeah, he goes ahead and starts that. Let's see if he has like a research skill. That's what he's going to roll, even if he doesn't have it, but we'll see. Keldon, played by David Kate. He does not have research. He does have the skill history and obscure history. Let's take a look at that and see what that does specifically. Knowledge of the record of past events pertaining to one culture or society. Yeah, local history is like the specific one that would probably be relevant. He could probably roll obscure history to do this. That would be the closest analog he has. It'd be more difficult than if he was doing something else, though. But he'll do that. So obscure history. He can fork in history. He can fork in noble wise because your sister's a noble. And I think he can fork in rule of law because a lot of the stuff that he would be looking up is like the official like banishment records for like the exile records, because they would keep records of the king's demands and edicts and all that stuff. So he is going to do that. And what should his intent be here? What do you want him to find? What sort of stuff are you looking for?
I mean, I think mainly whatever I can find on, like specifically what she's been up to since she's been exiled, to know whether I can trust her or not.
Okay.
Like, if anyone's, like, had, like, seen, like, sightings of a weird person in the woods or whatever, but, like, for some reason that fell in with stuff about my sister, which is, probably not super likely, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, that's
like,
really
anything
obscure.
that would be related to that.
So basically anything that would help you connect the two persons in your mind. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be difficult. That's going to be very difficult, but we're going to try it. It's going to be an Ob 7. He is rolling 4, 5, 6, 7 dice, so he needs to get all successes.
Can I help him at all?
Yeah, you have a relevant skill.
Let me see.
You don't have much in the way of... you have read. Read or noble wise. You can choose which one you want to use.
Probably noble wise.
Yeah.
Better that, right?
Yep, so you're helping with noble wise. The obstacle is 7, so for you automatically you're just going to get a challenging test for this.
Okay.
Because help works as if you were rolling against it, but you're not actually rolling. Okay, so I'll go ahead and add that up again because he has 8 modifiers. Or not 8 modifiers, sorry. He has 4 modifiers against an 7. Whoa!
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, buddy.
That was difficult, and he did it. Good job, Celadon. You're good at things. You're certainly better at things than Perrin is. Well, maybe not now. So Celadon finds something. So, did anyone have an idea? Ophelia, you're probably the person to ask. So, Avra said she's looking for stuff that would connect the person you were with the person you are. What kind of thing would she find in the official records? Any documents that exist in this city? What stuff would tie that together?
I have no clue.
Right, exactly. It's very obscure.
Yeah. Carls, what exactly do you mean by that? Like, is it just like your character's having trouble connecting like your older sister to this random creepy lady, and so you're trying to do that?
Because in the actual fiction, what's happening is Avra's just saying, give me everything you have on her. Like, we just need to pour over this. But what the player, Carly, wants to happen is that she finds a piece of information that will let her be like, oh, it's the weird lady in the woods. I know how to find her now, sort of a thing, right?
Right. Or anything that will, like help me understand what you are now. Like, other than just a creepy lady that showed up one day with a bird. Like, because I don't really know much else.
I mean, there's the whole thing where I've had a kid and a cult and killed everyone. So,
but do common people know about that is the question.
So, I mean,
well, it happened close enough that there is a mass grave site, so it's probably possible. It's in the same region, so like there's probably a record of a massacre that happened. Right.
Yeah.
Bunch of people went missing. Some horrified villager ran away from the site of a massacre, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And do we want to tie my kid into this yet, or is that for later?
We could. I don't know. What do you think?
I really don't know, because I don't know. Oh, wait, no.
I don't think we've really said a whole lot about them.
No. We talked about this off camera once.
Oh, we did. What did we decide?
I don't want to spoil stuff, but he's not with us.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of is the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I guess we can go with the cult thing. I mean, that's what I did in between.
That's probably the easiest thing.
Yeah, but that's not going to make her trust me. She's going to be like, oh, my sister killed a bunch of people.
That wasn't her intent. Her intent was to know who you are, not to trust you, not to find something that will make her like you. So, yeah, I think that's what you find, Avra. You find connections to it was probably like some people went missing. There was an investigation done, like people in like the neighboring villages. People were talking about some weird witch lady out in the woods that had like gathered all of these people to her, like this child that they were worshiping or something like that. It was a long time ago, so it's kind of deep in the records. But then there is basically there is a record of some frightened villager who apparently saw a massacre, saw this. What did you actually do, Ophelia? Did you give them all like poison or something?
I don't know yet. Actually.
What would be the? I was just gonna say what would be the like on the official record, this crazed, maddened villager. What did he see?
I don't know, but I want the thing that clicks, that makes the connection with Avra, because it doesn't say in the document like this is the exiled princess.
Exactly. Yeah.
That the person maybe like came back into town and maybe couldn't say much, but I think they like I feel like there needs to be an orchid.
And of course.
The thing that where she's like, orchid,
Yeah, because that would be the thing that Avra would be able to connect with you, as opposed to just random people knowing that you're the princess for some reason.
So right. I think it's a very deep. I think it looks like someone tried to bury this story. But I think what happened is this mad villager ran into town or something, like one of the outskirts towns, right? Was raving about some child they were worshiping in the woods and they were killing themselves. They were killing themselves or something like that, right? And then he just broke down and then started vomiting up black orchids.
Nope.
Just orchid after orchid after orchid after orchid, like a ridiculous amount of them. And then he died.
And Kayla, remind me to talk to you after, because I'm not sure if I can say this without, like...
You should message me on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, do it. So yeah, that's what you find, Avra, and you're like, oh, crap. And like the timing works out, right? There was a child, they were worshiping in the woods, they all died. She was a child at that time still. Black orchids, it all comes together. So yeah, and it's literally probably because it has nothing to do with the person that previously known as Ophelia, right? So like maybe it was you just randomly stumbled across it. Like I think maybe Celadon said something like, "Oh, this got stuck between two of the documents I grabbed. I don't think this is related." And then you glance over it briefly, Avra, and you're like, you just get this pit in your stomach, and you're like, "Oh no."
Yeah. She probably excuses herself from the room and has another coughing fit.
Has a coughing fit, yeah. Exactly. So we just see Avra just coughing outside, and then Celadon steps out, and then he says, "What is it? You okay?"
I mean, I think she just looks at him. Well, okay, is it I don't remember. Is it generally believed that her sister's dead at this point, or just that she's not anywhere around?
I think people assume that she died somewhere out in the wilderness.
Okay.
But nobody knows. I mean, they all just kind of forgot about her. That's
right.
Kind of,
Yeah. So I think she just looks at Celadon, is like, like just getting over her coughing fit, and just says, "Celadon, my sister's alive."
What do you mean? How do you know?
I've seen her. I've met with her.
What? He grabs your arm. He's like, "What do you mean, Avra?"
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I think she just looks at him, kind of shocked that he's like reacting so much. At least so like, what's the word? Like obviously, I guess. And it's just like I met with her. She contacted me.
Why didn't you? What did she say?
I don't even remember what we really. I mean, we didn't say much. Let's see if I put anything in my notes.
secret conversation.
She probably just tells him she was confusing me. She said the world was bigger than my father. I don't know what she meant by that.
So she just showed up out of nowhere, wanted you to meet with her, and then told you that?
Yeah.
She's probably mad like your father. Why are you even... She's been living in the woods or something. And then I think he thinks, and he's like, was that? And he goes back into the room, grabs the document that you were reading, and walks back out, and he says, is this her?
Yeah, I think Avra like puts her hand over her, like the bottom of her face, and just kind of like probably starts tearing up.
You did the noble lady thing of like the
yeah. She just kind of nods and is like, I think so. I didn't know until after.
You can't meet with her again, Avra. You cannot meet with her again. Do you hear me? And he's not saying it like I'm commanding it. He's like very worried.
Right. Oh, she could respond snarkily to that. But does she want to? I don't know.
Well, what are your traits and instincts and stuff?
That's a good question.
You do have the trait boaster. Nice.
I think she just says, Kilodon, what if she has answers about everything that's going on right now with my father, with everything?
Yeah, and you can see on his face, he's like, oh, this is my fault. This is my fault. Like, I should have just helped you. And I think he just kind of like chews on his lip for a second, and then he says, do you need answers that badly? What if there are no answers, Avra? Or what if you don't like the answers you find?
I don't care. If something is wrong with my father that I can do something about, I need to know. Even if I can't do anything.
So he seems to think for a moment, looks away, looks back. He says, will you promise me not to meet with Ophelia if I help you find out what's wrong with your father?
Yeah, I think she nods.
And I think he cups your face in his hands and he says, I'm sorry. This all must be terribly hard for you.
She just like crying nods.
And then I think, ignoring propriety, just hugs you. Yeah, and I think he says, this is my fault. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't want anything to happen to you.
Yeah, she just hugs him back.
Cool. I mean, what do you want to know specifically about? Because I mean, you've been trying to dig up this information.
Yeah.
But what if we were to make a roll right now for him to like help you figure out what's wrong with your dad? Where would you start?
Maybe just with like seeing if anything could cause like this kind of madness that is in him right now. Like if there's any like certain drug or
Right. Look, so you're
something that
starting
would do
like
that.
medicinally. Like,
Yeah, probably.
is this madness
Just
natural?
to
Do we
see if
have
it's
records?
actually like to see if it's actually like something that could have been administered to him that made him this way, or if it's actually like something whether it's something supernatural or if it's just his mind going.
Yeah.
Then those things will come later.
Yeah. So you're gonna start with though, was it administered to him? Did someone make him like this with like natural means, like drugs or something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Keladon himself is a history and law buff. That's his main thing. So he can make those rolls, or he could try to find someone who's better at it than he is. What do you think? Do you want him to roll like a history to try to find this first? Maybe. I suppose you just do that. It's not like he's gonna fail, and we can just make that first, and then we'll see if he has a friend. Okay, so I feel like obscure history can come in here too. Anything in obscure parts of history that would be similar to this situation. It's going to be difficult. So exact intent for you, Carly, is know whether or not this was like an administered drug or poison.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think this is going to be an ob 6. So still pretty difficult. He is going to fork in history. I don't think noble-wise helps here, even though your dad is a noble and he would be looking through probably some noble history. The specific information you need isn't directly related to nobility.
Yeah.
So I think he only has one modifier. So this is impossible as it stands. If you give him a modifier dice, he'll at least be the same amount of dice with the ob.
Question is, do I actually have anything? Work for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Like, the only thing I can think of is read, but that, it would made more sense as a help dice when you were just sifting through a bunch of old documents. This is more like, does he know the specific information?
Yeah.
Can he find it? Yeah, so I think I think he has at least one fate point, so it's possible that he succeeds on this if he gets some good 6s, because I can re-roll those. But right now he is doing 5 dice against an ob 6, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, no way that's gonna work. Okay, cool. Well, he got a challenging test on obscure history. So he exhausts. I mean, this is probably a while he spends going through this, so we'll probably have to leave it off there with him while he's researching this. But yeah, nothing comes up in obscure history that would, like, this seems like either a new phenomenon or at least a phenomenon that the immediate region hasn't dealt with in the past.
Yeah.
Or he's just insufficient in his research, or he doesn't have the right books or something. But yeah, so that takes a while. So that my question is, it's 8:14. Do we want to start the whole sequence with Cyrillus in the tavern now, or do we want to save that for next time? We have a little bit more time to play it all out.
That's up to you, Seth.
Yeah, good question. I say we save it.
Okay, sounds good. So
I should say I'm actually going to be gone next Friday.
That's fine. Yeah, just the next time we play, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
We have stuff with Alpheus and Avra that we can at least do next week. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we do want to do it now though.
Okay.
Because we could get, at the very least, the scene with Ophelia out of the way right away and decide. Because I was planning on it being a little bit more of a drawn-out thing where you're kind of deciding between all the different options and kind of seeing like stuff. But I think maybe what we could do it is Ophelia shows up as soon as you get to the tavern. You have that conversation, and we decide if you're going to go with her or not, just so we know what Cyrillus's direction is in that sense.
Okay.
Because then next time, if you decided not to go with Ophelia, right, then you could you would have scenes to do where you could figure out what you're going to do instead of that.
Right.
Because otherwise, you don't have anything to do next week at all, right? Because you're stuck in this limbo before you meet with Ophelia. So, so yeah, let's just do that now. So Cyrillus, you get to the Lonely Cliff. You walk in. How does your approach into the tavern look different because you're basically being hunted now? Because before you'd walk in, start chatting with people, get a drink.
I probably maybe just kind of walk directly to the bar, but not in the middle of the bar, to the side.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hey. And when the girl comes to me, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get out of here.
What's wrong, Cyrillus? And this gal's name's AT, by the way.
What's her name?
AT. ATI.
Okay, AT. So AT.
Why are you acting like this? Why are you whispering?
The king wants to kill me, and I need help getting out of this city.
Okay, what do you want me to do? She starts worrying, looking around, expecting guards to come in any second.
Anything you can. I don't know.
Yeah, but let me look at her skills. She has drink-wise, drunk-wise, persuasion, and seduction. That's her entire skill set. Yeah, so I think she probably says, let me see if I know anyone who might be able to, and she starts to freak out a little bit. I think I want you to make a roll to get her to actually help you instead of just kind of freaking out. And she probably will end up talking herself out of helping you at all because she'll be too wigged out by the whole situation.
Right.
I mean, she could just seduce all the guards that inevitably come in to attack her.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Yeah, so what do you want to do, Cyrillus? How do you want to convince her to help you? Let's look at your skill set. You have brawling, command, drinking, field dressing.
I punch her in the face and I say, "Give me all your money." No, I'm not.
Intimidation. You could treat her as if she was a soldier and try to just order her around. And use command.
Shoot, this is tough.
It sucks not being able to be nice, doesn't it, Cyrillus?
I know. I wasn't thinking straight when I built him.
Everyone's first Bernie Wheel character is flawed in some way.
Many ways. Hmm.
You could threaten her. You could just attack her.
Not gonna attack. That sounds like it'll draw some attention. Shoot. I'm thinking. Because like I probably have to threaten her, but like what do I?
I mean,
Think about
again,
how I-
command is probably your best bet in terms of like if you want to not be threatening to her,
Okay.
because you could do intimidation, right? And that would be
Gotcha.
like, yeah, trying to get her to be scared of you. But
Right.
you could just
Okay.
try to command her and just basically treat her as if she is a soldier and like give her orders and try to hope that snaps her out of her funk here.
Okay. That's probably the smartest thing to do.
I
I'll
think
do
so.
that.
Yeah. You can fork in intimidation though.
Sure. Sounds great.
And I think I'll give you an advantage die because I think I think she really likes you, and
Right.
she if she's in her right mind, she'd want to help you.
Mhm.
So you can add 3 modifiers. So you can click on command and then add 3 modifiers. The ob is going to be 4 though. It's her will.
Nope.
Oof.
Is
No
anyone
6s. Okay, so you could
surprised?
spend a fate. You have several fate. You could spend a fate, and it's a 1 in 12 chance you would succeed because you need to get a 6 and another success. But
Well,
crazier
might as
things
well.
have happened. Yeah, you have plenty of fate.
It's not gonna. I highly doubt it's gonna do it. So I go up to fate and
Yep.
click the little button.
And it's going to be 2 remaining ob and 1 dice.
Boo!
Oh, nope. No successes. Yep.
Not surprised.
Okay, yeah. So you try to give her orders, and it doesn't work. Surprise, surprise.
Wow.
So I'm trying to think of how she would respond to this. Yeah, okay. I think this is what's gonna happen. She's gonna be like, she's terrified, and then you're what do you exactly say? Because you're like commanding her.
You're going to help me, or else I could die. I probably will die. So you need to help me. You're gonna help me get out of this city.
Okay.
'Cause I got no one else.
Yeah. Yeah, Hector tried to turn you in. So she is going to kind of splutter a little bit, and then she's going to say, wait here. Just wait here. So I'll step out back. Just wait here. Okay? And you can see this look on her in her eyes where I think you can tell she's probably too wigged out, and she's either going to run, or if she's really scared, she's going to like try to turn you in. But either way, she's not helping you. And so she almost runs, brisk walks out into the kitchen and out the back door, right? What do you do? I think it's the middle of the day, so there's not a whole lot of patrons. There's like one drunk guy, like who's just woken up in the corner because you were yelling. He's like, he goes back to sleep.
Well,
I'm just curious what's your initial response, and then when you start doing whatever you're gonna do, Ophelia shows up.
oh, okay. I would think like, well, this isn't gonna work, so I gotta go somewhere else now. So I probably go leave.
Right. So you turn to leave, and Ophelia has just
Yeah.
entered in the
She's
door.
just standing behind me like,
Exactly. Ophelia, frame this for us. What does that look like?
I feel like he's about to go out the door, and he like opens the door, and I'm right there, and I just kind of do like the whole hand on the collarbone thing, and I just like, and I make him sit down,
Yeah, shove him back in and push him into a chair.
In a chair, and then I feel like we're at the bar.
Sure.
And so I sit next to him, and I think I do the whole like hand on the shoulder, but not in the nice way, in like the grippy way, where it's like if you move, I'll probably kill you.
So yeah, terrifying witch lady, all in black. Yep.
And then, how much do I know about his situation?
I think you were. It's not so much that Polydora told you as you got like a picture in your mind of maybe not his exact situation, but the fact that this guy's on the run and you can use that sort of a thing.
Like, do I know that he's at the end of his rope?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I can say something along the lines of like, you're out of options. One, just walk through the door. Don't be stupid. Come with me.
Can you get me out of here? You can get me out of this city.
I can get you out of a lot of things, buddy.
So, Cyrillus, would
Ophelia actually saying that? I can get you out of a lot of things, buddy.
Cyrillus, would Ophelia have to make any sort of roll here, or are you just like, all right?
I feel like I kind of have no options.
Yeah.
So
your desperation means your will is weak, and you just go with her.
And Cyrillus isn't smart anyways, so
Sure.
You're just like, ooh, a lady, I'll go.
So
I
now,
want to die.
Ophelia, this is the question. Now, how are you going to get him out of the city?
That's important.
Well,
The first thing that comes to mind for me is you could use faith in dead gods, right? You could pray to the gods to give you the perfect path to escape, right?
yeah, I feel like there needs to be some kind of change in the way he looks. To maybe not like fundamentally, I'm not trying to like mutilate him or anything, but like some sort of thing where it makes it so other people don't recognize him, because I don't actually want a fugitive on my hands.
Right.
Um,
And you want to pray to the gods to do that, basically?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna like leave the city, and Polydora just told me that I need to basically keep him a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, going out of the city doesn't mean you leave the region, right? You can take him back to where you are, and that's a success for him, for Cyrillus. He just wants to get out of the city right now.
Yeah, but I don't want that if he's gonna be a liability. Like, I don't want a bunch of guards to show up.
Right, I see what you're saying.
That's why I'm like, there needs to be some kind of disguise. It would be convenient if the gods were like, sure, we'll make it so nobody else like see him.
Right. So you want to do some sort of like obscuring thing where he looks the same, but then people who are like the guards won't recognize him no matter how hard they look. Like he will look like another person in the crowd to anyone else.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I like that. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds like a minor miracle.
Okay.
So that is going to be an Ob 5.
Under what?
In Faith in Dead Gods. So there's a couple things here. You only have a 4 in Faith in Dead Gods, but Faith in Dead Gods automatically rerolls all 6s. So it's still possible just without even spending any fate. You also have fate. Also, though, there's a couple of things I have yet to tell you about that I want to just kind of bring up briefly. If you wanted to, you could power this roll with corruption.
Yeah.
You could use your corruption to make a test go better by basically forcing yourself further down the path of evil.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
So, using corruption.
Okay.
So it says, for 1 fate point, a sorcerer may call upon dark powers to help him. A corruption may then help any stat or skill test, whether one of the character's own abilities or comrades. And it says stat and skill test, but I'll let you do it into attributes as well. I think that makes sense in this instance. And basically what that means is, let's see, you have a 4 in corruption. So you would automatically, if you spend a fate point, you automatically get 1 more dice on your test.
Okay.
And I think that's your best option. here, because the other thing you could do, you could spend a persona point to substitute your corruption for any skill or stat in any test, but your corruption is the same as your faith in dead gods, so it wouldn't actually help anyway.
And I don't want to use a persona point because you never know when Ophelia is going to get destroyed.
Shanked in an alley, yeah. Yeah, so I mean that seems like a good option for you though, is to spend a fate and get another dice to the test.
Okay, so I'm confused about where I do this because there isn't in the whole list of skills.
What are you looking at? Looking for?
Well, usually, when I roll gods wise, I go to the skills thingy and then
yeah, it's above that. It's in attributes.
Oh.
Where it says health, circle, steel, resources.
I see. Faith in dead gods.
Yep.
Are we
so.
doing corruption, though,
or? No. Well, at the end of the session, you'll probably get another test for the fact that you use corruption here. But for now, what you're going to do is you're going to click on faith in dead gods, add one modifier. And technically, one thing you could do before you do this, Ophelia, if you wanted to, I would let you make a linked test if you wanted to with your various doctrine things. If you want to basically set up a ritual or a specific prayer you're praying that would help you get more faith. It would take some time, so you'd have to take him to an abandoned warehouse and set up a weird ritual thing. But you could do that if you wanted to.
I mean, that would make sense because we're changing the way that he looks. It's a whole miracle thing, and I don't think the dead gods are as lame as just be yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool. Yeah, so we see Ophelia probably take Cyrillus to an abandoned warehouse because you're in the dock district right now, and you just grab some sticks, set up some sort of weird effigy or whatever you do. I don't know what you want to do here. You start setting up some sort of weird ritual. What skill do you want to use for that? I don't think you can fork God's Wise into something, but I don't think you can use that as the base. It would probably be cult doctrine, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But you can fork in apostate wise, cultist wise, demonology, God's wise, and heretical doctrine.
Okay.
And doctrine, in this instance, the ob is going to be...
Wait, so am I still doing the faith in dead gods one?
No, right now you're going to click on cult doctrine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm forking in...
apostate wise, cultist wise, demonology, God's wise, and heretical doctrine. So 5.
5.
And do you want to add in the astrology dice after the fact? The ob is going to be 3. So you're rolling 7. Wait. Yeah, 7 dice without the astrology.
Do I need to? I feel like that's...
You can probably make it without it.
I mean, okay. I mean, I guess I could, because if this goes wrong, it's not a huge deal. So
yeah, you always technically have a better chance of nothing happening on an astrology roll or something good happening than you do something bad happening.
Okay, then sure, we'll do that.
Okay, so you're gonna add 5 modifiers on cult doctrine, and then after the fact, you can roll your astrology die.
Okay, so then no Artha for this one, and then what's the obstacle for this one?
3. Perfect. Yep. So go ahead and roll the astrology die.
And no modifiers, right?
Nope.
Okay. And then just obstacle 1?
Oh, yeah. So you're not rolling astrology. You're just rolling an extra die.
So is this where you do the fate?
Yeah. Well, here, I'll just do it for you real quick. I'll just type in the macro there. Yeah. So nothing else happens, so you didn't get any worse. That's all you needed. So you get an extra. So you get 2 modifier dice on your faith in dead gods now.
Okay, 2.
And the obstacle is 5. That's not a good number. So you can still spend a fate if you would like, but it's pretty unlikely that you would get 2 6s and another success, which is what you need.
Yeah.
Up to you, though. You do still have 4 fate.
Yeah, I might as well.
Sure.
Okay, so then...
You need 3 remaining knob and 1 die. Nope, nothing. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when you fail Faith, shall we?
Oh no.
So
That's supposed to go different.
I know. I can have nothing happen except that you fail, but
That's not fun.
That's not fun. Let's see here. So nothing specifically about the dead gods part that comes into play, but let's take a look at regular failing. Here we go. Failed. Here we go. So part of me really wants to be mean here, but unfortunately the mean thing to do would be being mean to Cyrillus, which isn't what I want to happen, because Cyrillus has had enough meanness thrown his way.
Deformed.
I was basically gonna make it so that everyone would attack Cyrillus instead of like an inverse of what you asked for. Like everyone would know who he is and what he did, sort of a thing. But that's just mean to Cyrillus. I want to be mean to you, Ophelia. And so I think I'm going to do what I would have done to Cyrillus to you.
No!
So, right, instead of getting what you want towards Cyrillus, it's an inversion of what you want to you. So instead of being obscured, everyone is made vibrantly aware of your presence whenever you're nearby.
No, I don't realize.
So, and you get the sense that this is like just a capricious thing on the gods' part, right? They're just like, ha, Ophelia, here you go. Mess with this. See how this works out for you. We're curious, right? And I don't think you know immediately that it didn't work, because the idea would be that other people don't notice Cyrillus, but you would notice Cyrillus, right? And so you're like, you don't know if it worked. So what would you do?
Just probably start heading back to the woods.
Okay.
What?
Sure. So I'm trying to think of someone notices you, something happens. Does anyone have a particular idea? Is there someone like that you knew in the past that might recognize you all of a sudden, or would it just be like a bunch of the dock workers just are like, it's a witch?
I think it would be the latter, because the former basically is just Zoe.
Right. Yeah.
She wouldn't attack me.
Yeah.
So
I think what happens, Ophelia, is you take Cyrillus and you're walking through, kind of like just trying to be casual, be inconspicuous, and walk through the alleys and stuff, to streets, to the gate that would take you out of the city. And you notice it looks like just a normal dock worker, but there's suddenly a dock worker just kind of trailing you, and you almost don't notice it at first because it just looks like a guy who happens to be walking in your direction. But then another guy comes with him, and they're not talking about this. They're just suddenly wanting to follow you. And eventually, and I don't know how quickly you act, but eventually there's a small mob of them just trailing behind you, looking increasing. It's like I don't know if you've seen Inception, but it's like in Inception where, you know, the dream, the projections slowly start to notice more and more that you don't belong here. That's what it is for everyone. They just know that you don't belong here and they want to like stop you. And they start trailing after you. What do you do?
I feel like I would know in that moment, okay, the gods are just being stupid. So I think I literally just stop walking and I roll my eyes and I look up a little bit and just like,
Yeah, seriously, how are you reacting to this? You notice that there's just a mob following you at this point?
Like, I feel like I'm like, oh no, the jig is up.
starts crying.
Cyrillus just breaks into tears. I just wanted to serve the king.
I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this one.
Me at every decision in this game.
I mean, like, do I have to like attack these poor men?
You don't have to. You have skills.
I mean,
You do have a skill to talk to crowds.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically because I'm not trying to hurt people right now.
I mean, yeah. What would you say to them? And why? What would you be trying to get them to do?
Go away.
But in what sense? Like, how are you using your ability to talk to crowds to tell them to do this?
I say, go away.
Go away.
Hey.
I don't like you. You're creepy and you smell.
Bunch of men. Okay. I guess.
Because the idea with this, right, if you did oratory, would be you're using your conspicuous nature now to your advantage, right? You're like, everyone pay attention to me, listen to what I have to say.
I mean, it's just a bunch of dock workers, so, like, what things matter to dock workers? Because I don't, like, am I trying to be...
This, you know, one thing you could do, there's been a bit of a problem with the sea god.
Yeah.
You could bring that up. You could be like, I am the avatar of the sea god.
Treat me well.
Treat me well, right? Because everyone's... Yeah. Well, how would you say that? I want to hear Maria give a speech.
Okay. What's the name of the...
Pyrrhus.
Pyrrhus?
And he is the god of oceans, trade, and messengers. Just so you have stuff to work with.
Oh, a messenger. Okay. I think I do that whole stop, look up, roll my eyes thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. And I turn around and I see this whole like group of people and I'm like...
They're just standing tensely. Like they've stopped because you stopped, but they're like standing tensely and like they're about to like do something.
Yeah. And like how many people are we talking? Like do I need to get up on something so that I can talk to them?
It would probably be better if you did. It's maybe like, I don't know, a dozen and a half at this point. Okay,
so I think there's like a little crate or a little stool or something close by that I make Cyrillus get, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm elegant and I don't.
What if Ophelia just starts snapping at this, just pointing at this crate?
And Cyrillus is just like, okay.
Do you grab the crate for her that she's snapping at, Cyrillus? Sure.
And I get up on it, and I feel like my character, like I'd have this moment of just like looking at my feet, like this is so stupid and ridiculous, and I'm just like annoyed that I have to do this, but whatever. Yeah. Like my heart isn't in it. But I play the part, and so I stand there and I do the whole like shoulder thing, and let's see.
And so keep in mind, as you say things, the more stuff that you mention related to your skills that you have here, the more forks you'll get.
Oh. Okay.
So obviously, I mean, if you just claim to be the avatar or the messenger of Pyrrhus, that's a lie, so you'll get falsehood automatically, and
Yeah.
God's wise.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how I can do this. Okay.
Right, 'cause the idea is like, what knowledge is Ophelia dragging into the speech to make it work better?
Okay, we're just gonna start talking and see what comes out. Okay, would I call them gentlemen, or what would I call them? I think it is, what time of day is it actually? Is it still morningish?
Remember, there is no time of day on this planet. It's always
Oh.
daytime.
Right.
Like,
Even though I just mentioned that it was the middle of the day. I mean, it was the middle of
Like-
the work shift.
Middle of
yeah,
the.
there's no like time.
Yeah, it's the middle of the time, the regularly scheduled time where people are usually like the most people are working. Right. This is the day, the equivalent to the day shift on this planet.
Okay. So I think I just say something, the equivalent to like "Good day, sirs."
Yeah.
I think I open with sort of a little like quip of just like, I see you've all decided that your duties to the harbor have become increasingly less important to following some strange woman that you've happened upon. But alas, the sea has seemed to turn on you, yes, with Phaedrus. Wait, Phaedrus?
Pyrrhus.
Where's Phaedrus? That's a real dude.
That is a real dude.
With Pyrrhus. What's going on with Pyrrhus?
The high priest of Pyrrhus was murdered by the king, and he's the patron god of this city. And instead of appointing a new high priest of Pyrrhus, the king appointed a high priest of a different god.
So these people are probably worried that
the king is basically angering the sea god. That's the idea.
Okay. So blah blah blah. Ignoring your duties. That's what I've set up here. What did I say just now?
The sea god has been something.
Oh, right. Yeah. But the sea has seemed to turn on you, yes, with Pyrrhus seemingly angered by your holy king. And you are all in dangerous territory, yet you still seem to ignore said duties. But Pyrrhus has smiled on you this day and has sent me his messenger, because you often forget that he is also the god of messengers, not only the sea. Here I am.
Cyrillus, how are you responding to her saying this?
I'm just like, what is going on?
Maybe Cyrillus, do you believe her at all? Like, are you? Because you don't even know who this lady is.
I don't think my brain can even process whether I believe her or not.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, I say, here I am, and now you have your meager little chances to show Pyrrhus that you are indeed loyal to him, unlike said king, by not following, creepily I might add, his messenger, and letting her go on about her business, which is his business. I don't know how to tie anything else in. Yeah. Because otherwise I have to go into a bunch of other weird stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. But
yeah. Basically, the gist of it is like, I'm a messenger of Pyrrhus, and like I'm here because we want you to succeed at the sea trade, but you have to actually do your duties. So go do your duties. Is that the idea?
Yeah, and then it's just like you get to prove that you are loyal to Pyrrhus, because what you do to me, you do to him. So.
And so as you're speaking, they start wavering, and it's almost as like they didn't really know why they were following you in the first place, right? But they were like angry and wanted to attack you or something. Like that's the feelings they had. And then suddenly they're all like really conflicted. They're like, wait, why were we gonna? That's a really bad idea. Like she's a messenger of Pyrrhus, but they're starting to be swayed to your side. But you'll obviously have to make a roll. So oratory, and then falsehood, obviously, gods wise, obviously. I don't know. Was anything? I mean, I assume maybe that Pyrrhus doesn't have female messengers that are avatars of his will and go around doing stuff, and that would be, or at least that's not the popularly accepted doctrine, because then you could fork in cult doctrine and heretical doctrine.
I mean, probably not.
Because as you said, the messenger's part is usually probably underemphasized, at least in this city. So that's probably a good. I think you can get those two as well. So 4 forks with oratory.
Okay.
And then if you want to, you can do astrology. But I'll tell you the ob first. Let's see, it's the combined. It's like the average will of the crowd. So honestly, ob 3.
Okay. I mean, I guess I will do that. I'm trying to get more comfortable using the astrology thing because it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
4. 3.
Didn't even need it. But yeah, go ahead and. Well, here I'll just do it again. I can do the macro quickly. Whoa! See, it's possible. It's possible to get 2 6s in a row and a success because I just did it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you got a 7 out of 3, which definitely means that they listen to you. And so by the end of your speech, they're like, I think one of them steps forward, like an older gentleman who's probably been on the sea his whole life. And he takes one step forward, like ahead of the crowd. And at first you're like maybe worried because you're like, oh no, like they're just going to snap and attack me. And then he says, messenger, what must we do to be worthy? Just our duties or something more? It seems like we've tried to do our duties and there is no answer. And whatever you say, this is just like the word that they'll go. Basically, you're going to actually influence the city of Sinia very significantly with this statement. Because whatever you tell them to do, this is what they'll try. Like the whole, like it will slowly spread through the whole city of like, oh, a messenger of Pyrrhus came and this is what he told us to do. And if we just do this, then everything's going to be fine with the sea god. So what do you want that thing to be? Because he's like, surely it can't just be our regular duties because we've been doing that and like it hasn't been working.
Yeah. I don't know because it can't be anything like incredibly drastic.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of a minor thing that I'd actually want them to do. I was not prepared for this.
I mean, yeah, what kind of stuff fits into Ophelia's master plan?
I mean, having like, okay, this is just an idea, but it would be neat just for future possible things that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
For them to start like a holiday. And it's like, remember your dead loved ones day.
Yes.
Like, remember those that you've lost. And then
it would probably be like, so this is my guess of how you would probably phrase that. Like something like, remember this day. Remember the day that I came to you. For I was once a woman lost at sea, drowned in the ocean, and Pyrrhus had mercy on me. Remember those who have drowned at sea. Remember those you have lost. Right? Like...
that gives me a year.
Exactly, right? To plan for when that holiday comes around again. What you're going to try to get the people to do for you. Yeah, that's amazing. Cool, yeah. And so the old man says, "We will do this, messenger." And then he bows before you, and then the whole crowd just bows before you. And then what do? You just like grab Cyrillus and they're just like, "Okay, bye." And it's just like,
Yeah.
is that what you do?
Yeah, I think I just do the whole like look up thing again. And I'm just like, because this whole situation was just an annoyance.
Yeah.
To me.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, and I don't think you're gonna have to make any other roll. I think like the gods have tested you, and now they'll let the rest of your passage be safe as you exit the city. Cool, awesome. Wow, that was such a fun session. Lots of cool stuff there. Let's go ahead and do all the beliefs and instincts and fate and all that stuff that you get. Start with you, Cyrillus. You're gonna be changing some of these beliefs around.
Yeah. Okay, well, beliefs. The king is not well, but he should not be killed, even if he needs to go. I'll defend him with my life.
I don't think you worked towards that at all.
Yeah, no, I don't think I care anymore.
Yeah, you're like the king.
The sea industry needs more support, so I will convince the king to provide it. Yeah, I don't think I care about that.
Nope.
Politicians cannot be trusted, so I will investigate the conspirators against the king. Don't know if I care about that as much either.
I don't think you worked on any of those beliefs. This was a session of transition.
I did not once.
This was a session of transition for Cyrillus. So
yes.
You'll probably have to. So over the week, think about those beliefs, and you'll have to make some new ones. I think.
Okay. Instincts. Oh, I failed. If I go to an establishment, then I will order a drink.
That shows us Cyrillus was out of sorts. He didn't order a drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was very worried.
If someone I'm with refuses a drink, then I'll chide him about it.
So what if we just the end credit scene we get here is Cyrillus just realizes as you're walking through this, like walking out of you just got out of the city. Cyrillus realizes he didn't get a drink, and he just says, "How dare you, Cyrillus? How dare you?" Because he chides himself about it.
So stupid.
It was like that was the last time you had a chance to get a drink from that tavern too.
That's good. If someone other than royal blood works in politics, I will question everything they say. Veneer of Obi. Oh, do I go through anything else?
Yeah. Basically, like looking at all of the stuff that you have.
I didn't do any of that.
Your veneer of obedience was very interesting and caused some interesting situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you aren't actually obedient, you just act like you're obedient when you want to. That was what made you be like, all right, I'm gonna hit you with the spear now. So you'll at least get a fate for that, and I'll give you a fate for if someone other than royal blood works in politics. I will question everything they say as well, because those both had something to do with why you made the decision you did today.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Because maybe even Cyrillus still cares about the king, but he doesn't trust any of the advisors of the king, right? And so he's like, well, these people were going to get me killed, even if I can't, even if I still think the king's right, like the people under him are going to try to get me killed, so I have to run. Okay, cool. So 2 fate points for you. Awesome. Ophelia.
Yes.
Let's look at your stuff. You didn't try to contact Avra yet. That'll be next time. You were working on training Althea in the ways of your gods.
Yeah.
So you can get a fate point there.
Sweet.
You didn't actively work on avoiding the king, necessarily.
That's true.
Let's see. Is there anything else? I will give you a fate point for cruel because of the thing you did with Perrin again. You led to him getting throat possessed by a mink.
Throat possessed.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
officially my least favorite phrase.
I'll have to top that next time. So you can at least get that one. So I think 2 fate for you.
Okay.
Cool. I would honestly maybe change that last belief to something related to Cyrillus at this point.
Yeah, because
or Perrin, because that doesn't just really come up. Like, we know that Ophelia doesn't want to be around the king, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be directly related enough to, you're not going to get stuff from it, really.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I make belief 2 include Perrin.
Right. I believe my followers have extreme potential in the spiritual realm. I will train them in the ways
Agreed.
of my gods.
Yeah. And then I'll make belief 3 about how what was the demon's name again?
Polydora.
Polydora. So that, she told me that Cyrillus is important, so I'll do something about that.
Yeah, Polydora told me that Cyrillus is important, and then you can think about what do you want to do about it, right? Now that you know he's important, what do you want to attempt? And then we can figure that out next time. And this will be handy because we can do the session next week. Well, yeah, I wasn't necessarily thinking that you would actually go with Ophelia, so obviously you won't necessarily have something to do next week either now. But that was going to be that way either way, unless we played out that scene and maybe you had made a different choice. But Avra and Alpheus have things going on, at the very least, for sure. Cool, yeah, so 2 fate points for you, Ophelia, and then Avra.
I would argue that I worked towards getting answers through my sister.
Oh, yeah,
because
certainly, yeah.
I still used her to try to get answers.
Yep. And so you could probably, word that slightly differently now that you have a different goal there, but fate for that for sure. I think that's probably it. I think just 1 fate for you.
Yeah.
Didn't have as much time with Avra this time, but I have some ideas for stuff with Avra next time that we can, since it will probably just be an Avra and Alpheus focused episode. We'll have plenty of time to do stuff with Avra. Awesome. And then I'll go through the other minor Artha stuff that you guys can get. Let's see here. Artha. A fate point is earned if a player can stop the table dead with humor while in character. Did we have any moments like that?
I got destroyed by Cyrillus. I think that was just me. I was losing it.
The conversation with Caspian.
I was just muted.
The conversation with Caspian. Or, not Caspian, Bastion.
Yeah, I could not stop.
Caspian of Narnia. Sorry.
Yeah. Cyrillus tried slowly realizing what he had actually done was really funny. Poor gullible Cyrillus. And he's going to be gullible right into a cult now. It's going to be amazing. Awesome. Right skill, right time. Did a character have the right skill when no one else does to keep the story moving? I'm going to nominate Perrin for that. I think Perrin had some very good skills at the right time to do what he needed to do. So, fate point for you, Perrin. Embodiment. When a player captures the mood of the table perfectly and further drives the story onward, 1 persona point is awarded. Moments like great speeches, desperate decisions, or gruesome revenge fall into this category. I would like to nominate Ophelia for this one. I loved the speech of the messenger of Pyrrhus. That was fantastic. So you get a persona point for that. Let's see. Mold breaker. If a player comes to a point in the story where his beliefs, instincts, and traits conflict with a decision he must make, a direction in which he must go, and he plays out the inner turmoil, the conflict within his own guts in a believable and engaging manner, then he earns a persona point. I feel like we can nominate Cyrillus for that one. He has done nothing but do that all session. He's been like, oh crap. I gotta change my entire life. It was so sad though, seeing Cyrillus go to the 2 people that he should have been able to go to help, and both of them turned on him in the end.
Now he's getting sucked up into a cult of death.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
But honestly, I feel like this might be the best path for Cyrillus, like to actually accomplish things in his life.
That's fair.
I feel like this will be a
can't do
good
it
move.
yourself. Just get demons too.
Exactly. Awesome. Cool stuff. I think we're rearing close to a trait vote here. I think we're a couple of sessions away from having a trait vote, which means like we'll all vote traits on and off people's character sheets to show how they've changed. I feel like we're getting to an end of a smaller arc in the story here soon. And we'll do that. That'll be cool. Last couple of things is we do steal tests. Figure out if there's anything going on that people would get steal tests for. And they actually have that in the character sheet now. Let me grab this. Yeah, here we go. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Here we go. Passive tests. Let's see. Did anyone have news of a relative dying, observing weird low-grade supernatural effects? Anything like that? I don't feel like anyone that mattered. If it would have been like Cyrillus or Ophelia, if anyone, and they have 6 steals, so they can't advance it with a low thing like that. Witnessing violence, being in the presence of a character with the dreaded trait. Witnessing childbirth. I don't think there's anything there. Honestly, like the most drastic thing that happened to anyone was Perrin got throat possessed. So I think I'll give him a challenging steal test for that. And I guess Skion maybe gets it, but he doesn't need one. So
he's fine. He doesn't care.
Exactly. I feel like the rest of the stuff, there wasn't anything like particularly violent or crazy that happened to anyone. Cyrillus hit a guy, but like he's used to that, so it doesn't matter. And then last but certainly not least, corruption. Let us take a look at how your corruption changed this time. Maria, where is corruption? Here we go. Advancing corruption. I know that you... Oh, yeah, here we go. Stuff is rolled. When the attribute is used to help another test or when certain situations... Let's see. Okay. So, what was the number of the tests that you did... that you used your... It was the faith... it was the 5. So you get a faith or a corruption test as if it was an ob 5 for you, which means you get a challenging test with corruption for that. Did you lie? You did.
Oh, yeah.
Ob 1 corruption test. Boom, routine. You cast a spell. You did the weird magic stuff. Another routine test. Hey, look, your corruption advances.
Oh no, you tricked me.
Let me see if there's anything else. I think it was basically what you did, right? You lied and you did magic. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you did anything else necessarily.
Just
harmful.
force your boy to, get wrecked.
Yeah, I don't think that counts.
Too bad.
It was actually a rather tame thing that you did with him. So I think, yeah, you just advance corruption to 5. I love just seeing that Ophelia is just ramping this corruption up as quickly as possible. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait until she ascends into the outer planes.
Do I get some weird trait again?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I don't know why I closed the book. I needed to find it again.
I really want that forked tongue.
Alrighty then. You're going to roll a d6 plus 5. So go ahead and type in /r space d6 plus 5.
Space. Five. Like that? Yes.
Yes. Nice. That was the highest one you could get. All right. You get a choice between... Oh. These so because you've done 2 of them, right? You chose on the column the first time, and then you had to get the opposite one the second time. Now you get to choose again. Do you want enlarged venom sacs or cilia?
What's that?
I'm gonna find the trait in the book here. I think I know what it is. Both of them are weird things.
That's gonna
Celiac disease.
take away the ethereal woodsy beauty.
Cilia, you are covered in a mass of flowing, waving, hair-like appendages. These cilia keep you free of debris and move food from one part of your body to your mouth and even aid in swimming. Cilia are used for a call-on for speed tests when swimming. They are also disgusting and disturbing to anyone without them and cause the owner to always suffer penalties to inconspicuous and +1 op to other social skills except intimidation and ugly truth. So you could choose that or enlarged venom sacs, which the wording for that one is...
A wording?
This creature carries 3 doses of poison in its venom sacs. The poison refills at the rate of 1 dose per 2 days. Which one of those would you like, Maria?
Let me think. The thing is, I know that I'm going to get the other one eventually. It's going to happen.
Well, that's the thing. You're getting one from the opposite side of the trait, or opposite side of the table. It doesn't mean that you'll roll on the same selection. So the way the columns work, right? There's 2 sides of the table, and every time you roll, you get a number, and there are 2 options. So the idea is you get to choose from the primary traits or alternate traits. If you choose the primary traits this time, then the next time you roll a number, you'll have to choose whatever the alternate trait is for that number. So you won't necessarily get one or the other, for sure.
Well, the venom.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like the actual good option here.
I don't want to be a monster.
You will eventually, I promise.
It's taking away my cool, like, woodsy pretty girl.
Hey, Ophelia, this is what happens when you do evil. Oh, you know what? I need to give Althea and Perrin corruption now.
Oh, my beautiful children.
Yeah, I need to add that up for them. And maybe Cyrillus will get corruption here soon. That'll be fun.
You get to be gross too. Maybe you can have the weird hair.
I mean, if you've been good at swimming, Cyrillus would be fine with that. So there you go. Ophelia, would you tell us what this looks like exactly? Right? What are the venom sacs? Like, is it? It doesn't say that it's like obvious. So you can decide to frame this any way you want to.
Well, does enlarged mean they're gross looking and big?
The only thing it says is you have sacs that have 3 doses of poison in them. So it doesn't give you any odd penalty for inconspicuous or anything like that. So it doesn't have to be super obvious or large. It's large, but it can be inside of you. Like it can be inconspicuous, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean, because it makes sense to me for them to be like inside of my throat area.
Yeah, exactly.
And then does this give me fangs that I can maybe sometimes have and sometimes not? Because otherwise it'd be super obvious. But like because how else am I supposed to?
I think that's fine. I think that makes sense.
Am I supposed to give the poison? Do I just like lick someone and then they are poisoned?
I think we can more or less just say that your mouth is poisonous, right? If you ever bite someone or lick someone or kiss someone, you can decide whether or not you want to poison them.
Do I have to poison them? Because that takes away all
my... No, you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But you can also just be like, poison into a cup.
Awesome. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it works out pretty well for Ophelia.
Sweet. Oh, now Vernon and I are twinsies.
Exactly, yeah. So there you go. That's our session of Death Unto Madness. Things are horrifying. Things are bad for everyone. Afra's actually, I think she's doing okay right now, but everyone else not so hot. I'm really excited for next time when Titan tries to get Alpheus in on his like conspiracy more and more, and be like, well, Cyrillus ran away. Like, see, like we have this is our chance to strike. I gotta think of what he wants to exactly do there. Either way, I mean, you did at least one good thing, Cyrillus, by telling Bastion about Titan. Now they know that there's a guy who's like trying to take down the king, so they can act on it. So you did. You know what? Take another fate point for that. For your last thing, helping the king. I think that makes sense. Awesome. There you go. That's Death Unto Madness. We'll be back next time. See y'all. Thanks for playing.